Welcome to Full Summit, a story-based podcast about tales, trails, and epic fails. I'm Octavia.
And I'm Em.
For those of you just joining, we're going to bring you two stories and our thoughts on the tales, ending with Trailmix by Em, who will bring you 3 songs, and then I will be bringing you trail etiquette and other shit.
And other shit.
And other shit. Lots of other shit. So much other shit.
Yeah.
How you doing today, Em?
I'm good. This is the first time we're recording where we're not in the same room, which is interesting.
Yes. So disclaimer, the audio might be slightly different than what you're used to, but please tell all the listeners where you are.
I am, drumroll please.
And
Thank you. That was the worst drum roll I've ever heard. Oh, that was a little better. That's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome. But why didn't you actually drum on something?
But I don't want to mess my computer up, and I don't have anything hard surface besides my computer to drum
Why
on.
didn't you just whip out the drumsticks that you keep next to you at all times?
Oh, right. Yes. Hold on. Let me pull that right out for you.
Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
On that note, I'm up in the and I am doing relaxation, rejuvenation, self-care, reading. I needed it.
You did need it. You deserve it too. You have been going at work with so many changes and all the schedule changes that have been happening that, yeah, you definitely needed a few solid days with nothing else but rest and relaxation away from the modern day life.
I'm away from the modern day life.
Yes, you look like a babushka.
Thank you.
You're all bundled up. Is it cold there?
Yeah, it was so cold. It took forever for the house to heat up.
Oh my gosh. We have a fire going.
And the bedroom is still not warm yet, even though it's at high. So I opened up the door and to try to get some of the heat in.
Right. But you took the dogs with you though, so that's a nice break for me. I feel like I'm on vacation.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. I don't have to walk anybody or feed anybody. The cats are so hungry. I forgot they were here.
They're being so well behaved.
Yeah. Who do you have beside you?
Dee Dee.
The weasel. Leela the Dee Dee weasel. She is a Chorky, which we've probably mentioned a few times on the podcast, but she is a Chorky, and so she's the size of, she's smaller than the cats.
She's not really a dog.
She's not a dog. She's a little cat. And then, of course, Orion, the big, crazy, dopey dog. Well, in other news, we finally saw Wicked. And
it was okay.
You're absolutely out of your mind. I was blown away by the performance, and I love that they put the original cast in on that little ditty number. That was cute. That was amazing. Their voices are ridiculous. The performance was insane. I cried and laughed. What did you like?
I just like the actress who plays Elphaba, Cynthia Erivo. She's great.
Oh yeah,
they're great. Actually,
I don't know.
What are their pronouns?
I'm not sure, but a friend of mine sent me a picture of her at some dinner party with Ariana Grande. It must have been something for the cast, and clear nip slip. So that's fun. You want me to send you the picture?
Yeah, it's fine. It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. And it looks like they're having a lot of fun and having a good time. And, the two of them are both very fit and have almost zero body fat. So, not much to hold the dresses up with.
Ain't that the truth?
That is the truth. But I mean, the performance though was just her voice is so good. It was so moving. The last scene, I definitely cried at. I mean, I read the book and I saw the play years and years and years and years ago. Um, Probably in like '04 or '05, whenever it came out. And it was moving on Broadway. It was so moving, like recapturing all the songs and everything the way they did it. And I definitely think that when I going into it, I was like 3 hours. That's crazy.
Yeah, it just didn't resonate. Like that story just doesn't resonate with me at all.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just don't really I don't it doesn't it felt like 3 hours to me.
It did not feel like 3 hours to me. It felt like
I
no
didn't
time
love
at
it.
all. Really?
Yeah, really. I didn't love it.
It's it's such a good story of a person who is quote unquote destined to be one way, and then you see the story of the origin of this villain, and it's really that she was fighting for good, but then it got twisted.
Yeah, and I can appreciate all of that, except for the fact that I everyone is awful besides Elphaba. Like her dad treats her like complete garbage.
Yeah,
Her sister tolerates her at best.
I think her sister loves her. No, in the book her sister loves her.
I don't know.
Her sister loves her very much. And Galinda, uh and her were friends. And the song at the end of this movie, but the song that's like in the middle of the actual play is like I love you, but I don't agree with what you're doing and I can't go with you. Kind of like, I don't know, sonnet, I guess.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah. She's like, I'm too afraid of what other people will think of me, and I can't follow you to where you're going because of my own fears of being judged, you know?
Hmm.
I mean, that's the take I get from Glinda's character and her character development. And Alphabet just didn't give shit. She's like, you're fucking with the animals, I'm fucking with you. And I
Yeah.
respect that.
Yeah.
The little goat guy, I mean, he was cutest character. Sorry. I know it's supposed to be serious, but his cutest character.
What was his name again?
Professor, obviously.
Professor
Uh,
Dreyfus?
yeah. Yeah, that
Something.
sounds right. Yeah, that sounds about right. But anyway, I had a really nice time. We wanted to make sure we saw it in the movie theater, but we did not want to deal with all the crowd. So we decided that we were going to go during the week, matinee, going toward the end of the screening. Like, it's been out for a while now. Um, and we all wore green, which was cute.
Cute.
Yay. But anyway, I had a lot of fun.
I will perhaps see the second part.
You will absolutely see the second part in the movie theater with me, or you're sleeping in the bar.
Oh,
Joking, not joking,
you're not joking.
but actually.
Every time I get punished, little known fact, every time I get punished, I get sent to the barn.
Yeah, there's a stall with your name on it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to share it with Promise or Fleetwood.
No.
No, you have your own stall all to yourself.
Oh man.
Oh man. In other news, any other noteworthy conversation that you want to talk about?
I got nothing.
We got nothing.
No, let's get into the stories.
Please tell us. What is our first story today? I'm so intrigued.
It's called The Trailside Prophet. The trail was quiet, the kind of quiet that sinks into your bones and reminds you why you came out here in the first place. My boots crunched steadily over the dirt and scattered leaves, each step taking me deeper into the woods. The canopy above filtered the late afternoon light, casting dappled shadows that danced as the breeze whispered through the trees. I was savoring the stillness, lost in my own thoughts, when I saw him, a figure up ahead, standing just off the trail. From a distance, he didn't seem out of place, a guy out enjoying the wilderness. But as I got closer, the details didn't add up. He was in a blindingly bright Tennessee orange shirt, the kind you could spot from space. No backpack, no water bottle, nothing you'd expect on a trail like this. And then there were the barbells. Two 10-pound weights, one in each hand, dangling casually at his sides like they belonged there. My pace slowed as my brain tried to reconcile the scene. Was he exercising? Lost? Maybe this was some kind of endurance training. Whatever the reason, I was curious enough to let my approach linger.
Why would anybody be hiking with weight? That is
With barbells. Well, no, I've seen people walking with weights before, but like hand weights.
like little 10-pounders or 5-pounders, like the kind that you can strap on, like the soft ones. But the ones I'm picturing are like the metal, like black
Yeah.
ones from like the gym, like ones that would be out of
Kettlebells.
like no, kettlebells are they have the round ball with the handle. I'm
Uh-huh.
picturing more like a traditional 80s weight, like metal rusty thing. That's in my brain, that's the first image that pops into my head. I don't understand why, why does he have these barbells? What is he doing with these barbells? What is
We shall
happening?
see.
We shall find out.
As I drew near, he turned to face me, his expression friendly but intense. He gave me a nod like we were old trail buddies meeting again. I nodded back, ready to exchange the usual small talk. Beautiful day out, I said, breaking the ice. He smiled, but instead of a pleasantry, he dropped this. You know, he said, lowering his voice like he was about to reveal a universal truth. Every disease in the world, every single one, is caused by guilt. I stopped short, the words taking a moment to register. Guilt? I repeated. Exactly, he said, eyes sparkling with conviction. He raised one of the barbells as if it were a symbol of his enlightenment. It's not microbes or viruses. Those are myths. Every illness comes from guilt disrupting the body's chemical balance. Free yourself from guilt, and you'll free yourself from disease.
I'm sorry, but that is insanity.
I was actually thinking in my head as I was reading it, oh, that actually kind of makes sense.
Oh my god. Because what? You don't believe in science anymore and you're like, "I believe in myths now. I'm
No,
what?"
I don't believe in that it's not microbes or viruses, but I do believe that guilt holds a strong weight on you and can probably affect your immune system
Okay. Yeah.
because it has to do with stress and it has to do with
But he said this guy's saying that every disease is caused by guilt. Not that sometimes guilt can play a role in your illness. You know what I mean?
nah, I think he's onto something. Let's
I
see.
think that you guys both drank the Kool-Aid and clock's ticking.
I blinked, my brain scrambling to decide if this guy was serious. His tone wasn't joking, and he certainly didn't look unhinged. In fact, he seemed quite pleased to have someone to share his theory with. So, no microbes? I asked, half hoping he'd say this was all a joke. None, he said firmly. Viruses, bacteria, germs, it's all lies. It's guilt that makes us sick. The mind punishes the body when we carry guilt, and that's where it all begins. What about cancer? I ventured, feeling like I'd already gone too far down this rabbit hole. Easily cured, he replied, with absolute certainty, waving his other barbell as if brushing off the question. Now, something like MS might take a little more work, but even that can be resolved by addressing the guilt imbalance. I studied him as he talked, marveling at how completely he believed every word. His tone, his body language, it all screamed conviction. He wasn't just some random guy with a quirky theory. This was his truth. And you figured all this out yourself? I asked, genuinely curious now. His face lit up, delighted at the opportunity to elaborate. Years of observation, he said proudly. It's all right in front of us, but most people are too blinded by the lies of modern medicine to see it. The answers are simple, but society's been conditioned to ignore them. He glanced down at his barbells, giving one a quick curl. Strengthen the body, free the mind. That's all it takes. I nodded along, trying to mask my growing skepticism with polite interest. He was entertaining, no doubt, but I had miles to go, and the sun was starting its slow descent behind the trees.
Stop waving your barbells around. It's menacing. I don't like it.
Yeah, I think under normal circumstances it would, except that, you know, he doesn't see, like, what he's talking about. I still like it. I still think he's not crazy.
I still think he's few tools short of a toolbox. Got a screw loose.
That's only because he's probably been enlightened to the point where he's seen it.
What is it?
That guilt is the root cause of all illness.
Yeah, okay, but
Guilt is the root
all right.
cause of all illness.
It's not though.
I'll repeat.
I don't think guilt is the root of all illness.
I think maybe not.
Yeah,
And
because
obviously, like,
what about children that get debilitating illnesses? They have no guilt. They didn't do anything. They were just born.
what if they have guilt over a parent's divorce?
Because they're no, like I'm talking about like little kids. Little kids that don't have understanding of
What if they're reincarnated and
okay.
they have guilt from a previous life that they're
Right.
carrying over into
So
this life?
Marilyn Manson is now reincarnated. I don't know. Is Marilyn Manson dead now? I forget.
No.
It's not. Which one's give me a dead serial killer, please. I don't know.
Charles Manson?
Charles Manson. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Oh my god.
Marilyn Manson is the singer.
I know. I fucked up in my brain. Charles Manson. Is he dead yet?
I think so, yeah.
Is he a reincarnated soul that is now have cancer as a small child because of his guilt from his past life? I don't think so.
Maybe.
I don't buy it.
Well, I said, shifting my weight and glancing down the trail. I'd love to hear more, but I've got to keep moving if I want to make it to camp before dark. His face fell just a little. If you're ever curious, come find me, he said, rattling off an address that I had no way of writing down, but somehow stuck in my memory anyway. He even threw in a mnemonic to help me remember his name, which, oddly enough, worked. I gave him a friendly wave as I walked away, his words echoing in my head. The mind punishes the body. Guilt. No microbes. It was one of those encounters that stays with you. Not because you believe it, but because it's such a peculiar reminder of the endless variety of people in the world. As I hiked on, I couldn't help but laugh. The trail is full of surprises, and sometimes the people you meet turn an ordinary hike into something you'll never forget.
Well, that's an interesting one. Do you not agree?
Yeah, I like that one.
I like it too.
And why didn't he ever go visit the address?
I don't know. You think it was a he that was the hiker? I was picturing a she as the storyteller.
No, because they were too calm and didn't mention anything about it being like creeped out by the dude. So I think it was a man and a man, or else
Really,
the woman would have been way more freaked out.
I think it's interesting how I thought it was a woman like telling the story this whole time, and you thought it was a man telling the story this whole time. I think that that is a really interesting, you know, it's just really interesting.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the Astare? Do you really think that disease is caused by guilt?
Hmm. I don't know. Could be.
Yeah. And do you think that the dumbbells were not meant to be menacing.
Yeah, I still don't know what the dumbbells were about, but
Yeah, me neither. That
it was
was
weird.
that was very strange.
Well, a lot of prophets have like a staff or I don't know, something, a crystal ball, or
Yeah,
maybe those were his like totems.
that's true. You think he was a prophet?
Yeah,
This hiker, this dumbbell hiker.
that's what it said, the title.
I know.
He is a prophet.
You think he was a prophet? You think that the
Yep,
title was an accurate representation of the story?
I think so.
Okay, we'll go with that. I think he was a wackadoodle do.
Yep. Sounds good.
I think that guilt and anxiety and stress can play a factor in recovery process and in, you know, how you feel. But I think that there are certain diseases and cancers and things that are not guilt related,
Yeah.
but okay. I will take in the profit, quote unquote, and no judgment zone here, baby. You know?
Indubitably.
All right, our next story is called A Trail Reborn and is brought to us by an Instagram follower named Matt Busse. Their Instagram handle is Natural Resource.
Huh, like natural resource.
Yeah, it's a funny play on words, and we will tag them in our story on Instagram, and we'll put it in our show notes. So if anyone wants to find Matt's Instagram, they can find it easily from the show notes. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one. So this is going to be a more of an inspirational story. Matt Busse is the director of Parks and Recreation in the town of Kent, Connecticut. So I'm really excited to share this story. It's gonna be a fun one. All right, let's get into it. When I stepped into my role as Parks and Recreation Director of the town of Kent, Connecticut, back in February 2024, I knew the job would come with challenges. Emery Park, one of the town's cherished green spaces, was in disrepair. The trail was overgrown, the picnic area unused, and the summit of Mount Leonard, a spot that once offered some of the best views in the area, was all but forgotten. Still, I saw potential. The Mount Leonard Trail, a 2-mile out and back hike with an 800-foot elevation gain, had the bones of something special. I thought, if we can breathe life back into this trail, maybe we can revive the whole park. Over the next several months, I threw myself into the work. With support of my commission chair and a small but determined group of volunteers, we tackled the neglected path head on. Poison ivy was cleared away, fallen branches hauled off, and the dense overgrowth slowly peeled back to reveal the trail underneath. By late spring, we'd even managed to reopen the summit lookout, a stunning perch with sweeping views of the Appalachian Ridge and Catskills. The timing couldn't have been better. Summer was just around the corner, and I wanted to reintroduce the trail to the community with a celebratory group hike. That first hike was small but meaningful. 5 adults and 1 adventurous toddler joined me on the trailhead. Among them were 2 regular hikers who had been quietly using the trails for years, even in its neglected state. The other 3 were first-timers, longtime Kent residents who had heard about the trail's reputation for being overgrown and unpleasant, but were curious to see what had changed. How would you feel if you were part of this community and were one of the few going on this trail for the first time? I only have heard that it was overgrown and unpleasant for years and years and years.
I think that I would probably feel pretty intimidated based on just the level of lore surrounding the hike.
It sounds really beautiful, though.
Yeah, it does sound
Back
really
in the
beautiful.
day, like
Yeah.
back in the yonder years or whatever, it sounded like it was a really good hike, and I'm glad that they're fixing it up, and I hope that it turns out really good.
Me also.
All right, let's find out. The climb was no walk in the park. The trail's steep sections challenged even the seasoned hikers, and the toddlers' giggles kept us motivated as we powered through the elevation gain. As we made our way up, the group shared stories and laughter. The energy shifted from cautious curious to genuine excitement. When we finally reached the summit, the view was nothing short of spectacular. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in hues of gold and amber that spilled over the ridge and valleys below. The toddler let out a delighted squeal, which made us all smile. So, really quick, um, they are now at the top of a mountain at
Mhm.
sunset. I mean, that sounds beautiful, but you are in the top of the mountain at sunset with a toddler, and now you have to get back down before it gets dark. I mean, it's a short hike, but still, just saying. It sounds magnificent, like the perfect first hike, but also sketchy with a toddler. The end. I'm
Yep,
assuming they brought headlamps.
and lots of, trail snacks.
Gorp
I think so, and apples and cheese
and M&Ms.
and granola bars.
Yeah, and granola bars. No M&Ms.
Okay, and M&M's, sure.
All right. To mark the occasion, I brought the town flag with me. We planted it at the summit, and I took a moment to reflect on how far we'd come, not just on the trail, but as a community. This moment isn't just about the trail, I told the group. It's about what we can do together. I like that sentiment. I like it a lot. Very well
Me
done,
too.
Matt. The hikers nodded, their faces glowing with the kind of satisfaction that only comes after a hard climb and a beautiful reward. For the newcomers, it was a revelation that such a treasure had been sitting right in their backyard. For the seasoned hiker, it was a validation of their quiet commitment to a place they'd always loved. Since that hike, the trail has taken on a life of its own. Every week, I meet new faces, families, solo hikers, photographers, all discovering or rediscovering Mount Leonard. The fall has been especially magical, with the summit offering some of the best foliage views in the region. For me, the trail has become more than a project, it's a personal journey. I still hike it weekly, sometimes with friends, sometimes alone. Each step reminds me of the power of community and the resilience it takes to turn something neglected into something extraordinary. Standing at the summit, looking out over the ridges and valleys, I'm reminded that the best views come after the hardest climbs, and that makes every step worth it. I love that story. I love an inspirational story.
Yeah, you really do.
I do. I do love an epic fail because it's funny and crazy and ridiculous and like what's going on, huh? But I love an inspirational tale. I really do. I'm so honored that Matt entrusted us with his story and to retell it. Um, maybe we can go and hike this trail sometime. We're not that far from Connecticut.
Yeah, I really like that story a lot, and you're right, it's a good break from the epic fails, that we normally cover.
Definitely.
And I also really appreciate him sending it in and entrusting us to tell the story. That's kind of similar to Chris Hillier's story. Remember that?
Oh my God, yeah. I can't forget that story.
Yeah. When it's something more serious like that, it's definitely a different tone and it takes a different kind of reading style, which I think that hopefully we give it justice.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it still has its levity. It sounds like he took a bedraggled trail and was really able to turn it into something magical. And I love that for him. I love that for the community that he
Go
lived.
Leslie Nope.
Go, Leslie. No. Leslie, nope for president.
Whoop,
Hell
whoop.
yeah. Whoop, whoop. I have a sticker of that one on my computer. All right. Well, if that's all the thoughts that you have in your brain, Do you want to get into the next section of our a little podcast here?
Surely whirly.
I hope everyone's ready for Trailmix.
It's Trailmix. So first on the Trailmix is Waiting for the Summer by Deepend, which perfectly captures that yearning we all feel for brighter days. I don't know about you, Teve, but I am so over winter already.
I know. Well, yes and no. I don't mind winter if it's not 20 degrees out or like in the teens. It's too much. 30 is fine.
Yeah, it feels like every time I've gone outside, it's so cold my skin chaps.
Oh God. That sounds awful.
It is. Okay. But here's the twist. The song isn't just about the actual season. It's about that inner summer, waiting for the moments when life feels lighter and more carefree, no matter where you are. Next on the list is Skywalker by Miguel and Travis Scott. It's the perfect soundtrack for those moments when you're cruising through life or the trail with the unshakable "we made it" energy. On the trail, the song feels like the soundtrack to the golden hour, when the sun is low, the views are unreal, and you're walking with that tired but triumphant strut. Next on the list is This Love, Montmartre remix. You know the one by Bob Marley, right, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the classic. Is this love? Is this you know the one.
Yeah, love it. Love it, love it.
Yeah. But this is a remix and it keeps, I would say, the soul of Marley's original, which is warm, obviously heartfelt, love and connection. But it's a perfect soundtrack for a slow, steady ascent or a moment of reflection by the campfire. The steady pulse of the remix feels like the pace of a long hike, keeping you moving while your mind floats somewhere peaceful. That's all I've got.
Well, thank you so much for your wonderful Tramex as always. Are you ready for trail etiquette and other shit?
Indeed.
Indubitably?
Indubitably.
I like
What is
that.
that one line from The Princess Bride that he's always saying?
The
What's the
one
word?
line.
It sounds like indubitably, but it's not indubitably. Inconceivable.
Oh, oh yeah, his line. I thought you were talking about when the prince was lying on the slab and he was like half dead and he was trying to say to blave.
Oh, to believe.
To blave. He's
Oh my
saying to
god.
blave. To blave means to bluff. And he's like, no, he's not. He's saying true love. That is such a classic good movie.
Yeah, it is. It's such a good one.
Anyway, for today's to blave, for today's trail etiquette and other shit, I thought that wilderness photography would be appropriate, considering our second story, because of the wonderful views that those hikers were seeing. So, wilderness photography. Let's get into it. This is a tip, a- you know, a, not a trail etiquette. This is another shit. We do a lot of other shit in trail etiquette and other shit. And I like it. I don't mind it. Sounds good. Hikers are often drawn to capture moments of natural beauty and camaraderie. Majestic snow-capped peaks, vibrant wildflowers, jewel-toned butterflies, and campfire gatherings. These scenes create cherished memories that photographers help preserve even as the details fade. While many of us lack expensive equipment or formal training, the good news is that you can significantly improve your outdoor photography with simple techniques. Hiking provides an excellent opportunity to practice. Here are 10 easy tips to elevate your trail photography. 1. Seek vibrant colors. Capture eye-catching hues like alpine lakes or a brightly colored tent in a forest. Look for standout colors to create striking photos. 2. Time your shots. Photography at dawn or dusk are softer, warmer light, while midday shots can be unavoidable. Early or late light adds depth and charm. Use the rule of thirds. Position your subject off center by an imaginary tic-tac-toe grid over your scene. Align the key elements at intersections of your dynamic composition. Do you know what that means? Do you know what they're trying to say?
Mm-mm.
So, like, okay, what they're trying to say is that you have the subject of which you want to take a picture of.
Okay.
Now, you want to position that off to the side. So you want to align it slightly off. If it was like a tic-tac-toe grid, so what's tic-tac-toe grid,
4x4.
3 by 3, right? Rule of third. Yeah. So you want to kind of position the screen, as you will. We all have screens now. There's no lenses unless you have a lens camera. Off so that it's not completely centered on the
That makes sense.
on the subject of what you want to take a picture of. All right. You understand that now?
Yeah, that makes more sense. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. Number 4, fill the frame. Get close to your subject to capture detail and minimize distraction in the background. Now, I would say that this tip is for when you want to take pictures of like a leaf or a bug or a tree or a rock. Like this isn't for your panoramic view because if you're going to try to get closer on your panoramic view, you're going to fall off a cliff. And what's the rule of thumb here at Fall Summit?
Don't fall off a cliff.
Yeah, don't fall off a cliff.
Just
Um,
don't.
just don't do it. Try.
Bad habit.
It's a really bad habit. I keep falling off cliffs. I don't know why. It's really
You
bad.
would.
I know. Whoops. Anyway, try vertical shots. Rotate your camera by 90 degrees for a fresh perspective, especially on a tall subject like trees or buildings. Number 6, experiment with angles. Shoot from unusual viewpoints. Heel or lie down or capture profiles from more engaging images. Do you know what they're trying to say here?
Yeah, that you don't always have to take a photo straight on.
Yeah.
That you can change it up by changing the angle.
Yeah, so I was watching TikTok videos, I don't know, a while ago, and they had one of those like tutorial shot TikTok videos, and the
Uh-huh.
person they were using a phone and they were taking a picture of like a cup of coffee on a table.
Right.
And instead of taking it with the camera facing like up with the camera on the top and like, like how you normally use your phone, they turned it upside down and they took the picture upside down and the shot was so much cooler. I tried it. It worked. It
Interesting.
was,
I'll have to
yeah,
try
it,
it.
it was just a different perspective and it created like more depth in the photo. It was just, yeah, it was really interesting. Anyway, I love that. Okay. Number 7, include foreground, middle, and background. A balanced composition adds depth. For instance, frame a distant mountain with a rocky trail in the foreground. Number 8, simplify backgrounds. Avoid clutter or blur the background using a shallow depth of field for a clean, professional look. Focus on characters. So on this one, I would say that they're trying to say use portrait mode. All right, number 9, focus on character. Highlight subjects with personality, like worn boots or intricate natural patterns to add storytelling elements. And number 10, steady your camera. Use a tripod, fence post, or rock to eliminate blurriness. For portability, consider tools like a Gerber Steady or multi-tool that doubles as a tripod. With these tips, even basic equipment can yield impressive results. So next time you hit the trail, experiment and see how your photography improves. The
Thanks,
end.
Dave.
I hope you liked it. I hope everybody uses these tips and can have some fabulous photographs. And if you do use these tips, please send them to us because we want to see them. I love pictures.
Picture books.
Yeah. What books are you reading?
Right now I just started The Midnight Lie.
What's it about?
I have no idea because I just read the cover.
So you just started it by reading the cover?
Yeah, just to you right
Have
now.
you read it all since you've been up there?
Yeah, I read a couple chapters in the cloisters. That one's good.
What's that about? Is that about the Met?
Yeah, it's about this girl who is supposed to be getting a internship at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, but then HR tells her that they don't have a position for her anymore because the professor that was supposed to intern with her got a call somewhere else and is like not available anymore. But then another guy walks in, Patrick, who runs the cloisters, and invites her to be a intern there. And now they're talking about tarot, ancient tarot, and I don't know what else yet.
That's really all. Have you ever been to the cloisters at the Met? It's like on the top
No,
of
but
Manhattan.
you've told me about it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's well worth the trip, whether you're religious or not. It's the artwork they have there, the architecture, the gardens. It's so awesome. It's amazing. And they also
Yeah, the
have
way they describe it in the book, it's really pretty. Or it
it's really
sounds really
pretty.
pretty.
And they have that tapestry, the really famous one in
The
there.
unicorn.
The unicorn one. Yeah. I brought Adriana there a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We had a nice time. We enjoyed it. Well, I'm glad that you're getting some reading done. We miss you. We can't
Miss
wait
you.
for you to come back
Orion
home.
misses you.
I'll
Orion's
get
been
my
sleeping for
bed.
like 2 hours now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you drove for 2 hours and then he was probably running around and sniffing things and, getting into all
Yeah.
sorts of trouble. As always, you can find links in our show notes for any of the resources we use to make this episode.
And don't forget to follow us on Patreon, where we have extended versions of the Trailmix and also bonus episodes and bonus content.
And check out our merch store because we have lots of cool things in there, especially our new Don't Fall Off a Cliff sweatshirt, which I'm obsessed with. And I know I mentioned it last episode, but I will continue to mention it because it continues to be my favorite sweatshirt. I was wearing it yesterday, and now I have to wash it. So now I'm wearing the crop top OG False Summit Tales, Trails, and Epic Fails.
The
Uh,
light blue.
the light blue one, yeah. It's like light blue, sort of greenish. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a sagey blue color. It's not like a true baby blue. Yours is a true baby blue.
Just like my eyes.
Yeah, just like your eyes.
They're not. They're dark brown.
Yeah, I know. Just like you
That
wish.
was a test.
Just like you
You
wish your eyes.
failed. I'm gone. I'm gone for 2 hours and you forget the color of my eyes.
I don't pay attention. It's fine.
No.
Eyes,
Oh,
blue, green, brown. What's in a color? I'm colorblind, maybe. It's
you have
possible.
yellow eyes, Dave.
Yeah, I'm a wolf. Ow.
You're a what?
A wolf. A wolf.
I heard wolf.
A wolf. I am a wolf.
Oh my god.
I'm a wolf,
Anyway,
baby.
I think that's it from us crazy folks here at Falls Summit, where every mountain is just one more almost there.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. And if you didn't enjoy it, well, maybe that's your epic fail for the week. Huh.
If you've got any questions, stories, or trail fails of your own, hit us up. Email us at fallsummit.pod@gmail.com or fallsummit.pod on Instagram. And we'll be back next week with more tales of misadventures and questionable decisions.
Until then, happy trails.
And don't fall off a cliff.
See you out
See
there.
you out there.
1, 2, 3. See you out
See
there.
you out there.